看旁边又炸了，
又炸了！
乖乖，我的妈！
那个爆炸是无人机吗？
不是无人机。
Hello, I'm a retired general. Welcome to my channel. I'm here because what you see on the news tells you what is happening. I'm going to tell you what it means, as someone who has read intelligence assessments and been inside decision-making rooms. One more thing before we begin. This channel uses its revenue to fund student scholarships. If you subscribe, like, and comment, you are directly supporting that mission. Please hit subscribe now and turn on notifications. Now let's get into it. The Secretary of Defense stood at the Pentagon podium this week and delivered a statement that was extraordinary. Iran has no air force, no navy. The entire fleet is at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. No air defenses. Missile capacity down 90%. Drone capability down 95%. Every factory, every production line that makes Iranian missiles has been destroyed. If that briefing is accurate, the US and Israel achieved in 12 days what analysts said would take months. But here's the question. If Iran's military has been this thoroughly dismantled, if their leadership is hiding underground, if their communications are broken, why did 4 terror attacks happen on American soil in the same 2 weeks? And why is the president calling this war a little excursion? 3 fronts. Let us take them in order. The military front. Hegseth's briefing. Hegseth's Day 12 briefing numbers were specific and sweeping. 15,000 targets struck, over 1,000 per day. Iran's entire navy at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. Air Force gone. Air defenses gone. Missile volume down 90%. Drones down 95% in a single day. The claim that deserves closest scrutiny. Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity. Every factory, every component manufacturer across the country has been, in Hegseth's word, destroyed, not degraded. Destroyed. Why does that matter? Shooting down existing missiles is achievable. Destroying the industrial capacity to build more is dramatically harder because production is spread across dozens of facilities. Hegseth says both goals were achieved simultaneously in 12 days. If accurate, this is historically unprecedented. I spent 30 years in uniform. I have never seen a claims package like this from 2 weeks of combat. The burden of independent verification is high, and the administration has not yet opened access to outside assessment. Hegseth also confirmed a KC-135 tanker crew killed this week. He called them heroes. He was right. He confirmed the day of his briefing was the highest strike volume over Iran yet. This campaign is not winding down. It is ramping up. The Pentagon says Iran's military is essentially finished. 15,000 targets in 12 days. Do you believe these numbers? What would it take to convince you? Drop your honest reaction below. The home front, 4 attacks in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, 4 significant attacks on American soil. Austin, Texas, a gunman wearing a shirt with the Iranian flag killed 3 people, wounded 14. New York City, 2 men threw IEDs into a crowd, both U.S. citizens, both recently traveled to the Middle East. Norfolk, Virginia, a convicted ISIS supporter, already sentenced for providing material support to terrorism, walked into an ROTC classroom at Old Dominion University and opened fire. 1 killed. Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, a truck driven into a synagogue, suspect dead, investigation ongoing. Former FBI Deputy Director Dan Bonino made the key distinction. Coordinated terror cells are actually easier to detect. They require communication, money transfers, foreign contacts, all of which leave investigative traces. The harder problem is the lone actor, radicalized online. No foreign contact, no cell structure, invisible until they strike. Bonino raised denaturalization as a policy gap. The Norfolk attacker served a sentence for ISIS support and was released, then killed someone. Under current law, terrorism conviction does not automatically trigger denaturalization. It requires a separate judicial process. Congress would need to act. These attacks are not confirmed as Tehran ordered, but they occurred in the same window Iran's supreme leader called on all proxies to mobilize. That Qad's day arrived, and that intelligence places roughly 700 known Hezbollah-connected individuals somewhere in this country. 4 attacks on American soil in 2 weeks. Has your city increased its security presence? Have you noticed anything different at public spaces? Tell us what you're seeing on the ground. The language front. A little excursion. The third front is language. In wartime, language is not decoration, it is policy. The president called this war a little excursion. Multiple times on camera, in multiple interviews, we took a little excursion, a short-term excursion, a little couple of weeks. The dictionary definition of excursion: a short, organized pleasure trip, especially one taken as a vacation activity. The definition of incursion: the word he almost certainly meant: a sudden, often hostile entrance into or invasion of a territory by military forces. The working theory: an advisor said incursion, the president heard excursion, and no one has corrected him. Whether true or not, the word is on tape, said repeatedly. American soldiers have died in this war. The KC-135 crew was killed this week. Roughly 150 are wounded. These are not excursion casualties. Victoria Coates, former Deputy National Security Advisor, made the right strategic call. This is the moment to press the advantage. Iranian leadership cannot make decisions. The window should be used. She is probably right. But pressing a military advantage and being honest with the public about what is being sacrificed are not in conflict. Both are required of a commander-in-chief. Words set expectations. A president who calls a war an excursion is not preparing anyone for what comes next. A little excursion, said multiple times on camera. Soldiers have died in this war. What word would you use to describe what's happening? Be specific. Comment below. 3 fronts. 1 picture. 3 fronts together tell something the individual pieces do not. If Hegseth's numbers hold, the military campaign is achieving its objectives faster than expected. 15,000 targets. No Iranian Air Force. No Navy. No missile production. Consequential, if verified. What the domestic front tells us: if Iran's command structure is as fractured as Hegseth claims, supreme leader communicating by written statement read by a TV anchor, leadership hiding in bunkers, then the attacks on American soil are not a coordinated offensive from a functioning state. They are pre-positioned assets activating without central direction, decentralized, unpredictable, in some ways more dangerous, not less. What the language front tells us: a president who frames sacrifice as a short pleasure trip is not building the public understanding necessary to sustain this campaign, or to have an honest conversation about when and how it ends. Cod's day arrived. Hegseth called it Death to America Day and said there would be no parade. He was right about the parade. But 4 attacks did happen. The proxy activation produced not a military assault, but lone actors on American streets. Understanding that distinction matters for what comes next. The next 72 hours will be significant. Highest strike volume yet combined with Quds Day activation. Watch closely. Military front, home front, language front. Which one concerns you most right now and why? Speak up. This conversation matters. 3 things to carry forward. 3 things to carry forward. First, Hegseth's numbers demand verification, not blind acceptance or reflexive dismissal. Congressional oversight, allied intelligence, independent assessment, these are not obstacles. They are how democratic societies confirm what their government tells them is true. Second, the domestic threat is real and structurally different from the foreign military threat. The FBI's tools for coordinated cells are strong. For a self-radicalized lone actor with no foreign contact, much weaker. If you are in a major American city, security posture in your community matters over the next several weeks. Third, the words a president uses about a war reveal his relationship to that war. A president who says excursion is signaling, consciously or not, that he does not fully inhabit the weight of what he started. That is not a partisan observation. It is a leadership observation. It matters to every family with someone in harm's way. The campaign is advancing. The domestic threat is rising. The cost is real. And the man who launched this is calling it a little excursion. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If you had one direct question for Secretary Hegseth at his next briefing, one he'd have to answer on camera, what would it be? Best question gets pinned. Drop it below.